Hey guys, it's Ashley and welcome to my first reading vlog of 2021! Woo! To be completely honest with you right now, I'm mainly making this vlog because I have zero ideas as to sit down and film videos for this next week. So we're going to vlog my way through a couple of books that I want to read this month and just see what happens, and hopefully we can make a video out of it. How does that sound? So I have a couple of different options to choose from. I mentioned in my reading plans video that I wanted to reread The Last Magician, which is definitely still an option. And also I mentioned that I wanted to read City of Brass, which I'm kind of leaning toward right now. I also mentioned The House in the Cerulean Sea and These Violent Delights, but for some reason I'm leaning more so toward one of these two right now. You can't really see it because of the light, but one of these two. I don't know, maybe I'll post on my Instagram or something, or I'll just start reading a book. I don't really know what's gonna happen. As you can tell, I am just chock full of ideas and motivation right now. No, in all honesty, sometimes I get this way where I just have absolutely no ideas, no inspiration. Like every time I go on YouTube to try to get inspiration from other creators, everybody who I'm subscribed to is just really posting end of the year videos or most anticipated releases videos and that kind of thing, which I've basically already done with my Bookmas videos from last year, so that's not really helping me. But yeah, we'll do this vlog, we'll see what I can read and what happens, and I'll just take you along for the journey. So, which book shall I read? Honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards City of Brass, so maybe I'll start this and see how far I get and what I'm feeling, and then update you guys a little bit later. When I included this book in my reading plans video, I got a lot of you saying that this is your favorite book of all time, one of your favorite fantasy series and all of that, but then I also got a couple of comments oh, I couldn't really get into that book, so I'm kind of eager to see where I'm going to fall on the spectrum. We will see what happens. I'm gonna go ahead and go outside because it's pretty chilly right now in Florida. It's in the 60s and it has been for the past week, and it's been amazing. So I've been spending every minute that I can outside. So I'm gonna go ahead and sit outside and read this book and see how far I get. I also really wanted to try to make my vlogs more cinematic. Some people can make their vlogs really, really pretty. They have the pretty B-roll, they have the nice music in the background that makes it very calming. They can easily switch between the B-roll and the talking foot. I can't do that. I've tried so hard to be super cinematic and beautiful in my vlogs, and I'm just not that person. So you're just gonna have to deal with me and my face as I talk to you. If you're not into that, you can go ahead and leave, but that's what this vlog is. That's what all of my vlogs are. Oh well. Okay, I had to come back inside because my dad started hosing off the back patio, and you can't film or read while that's happening. So here we are. It took me legit more than an hour to read just one chapter of this book because the story actually starts with a description of the what is it called? The 6 tribes of the Jinn. And so you're reading it, but there's so many words and names of things that you don't really know yet, and so it's very hard to understand exactly where they will play into the story or what they even are. I spent more time than I probably should have trying to understand that before just realizing I should probably just get into this book and try to understand it as we go. But the first chapter so far, I'm very intrigued by the story. I think it's going to be really exciting and interesting to read about. We basically follow this girl named Nari, if that's how you pronounce it, who is kind of a con woman, but she also has this ability that has always come very naturally to her, where she can either heal people or she can tell what people are suffering from, the ailments and illnesses that they have and stuff like that. She also has this uncanny ability to understand languages and speaks this language that nobody's ever heard of, that she's just always spoken, and she doesn't even know the name of it. So it's very kind of ooh, what's gonna happen? Who is she, right? But I really like her so far. She's very street smart. She's very savvy. She kind of knows what she's doing and knows how to get around things. And the way that the chapter ended was honestly pretty eerie because she may have just like awoken something that she probably shouldn't have. So I'm really eager to see where this is gonna go and what's gonna happen. The other thing that I'm really liking about the story so far is the world itself. It's obviously based in like the Middle Eastern area. Even just looking at the picture of the map, it's clearly like what is today Africa and the Middle East and that sort of region. It's definitely going to be heavily like influenced by all of those things, and I'm very excited to see like how it develops from there, because I love reading stories that are kind of inspired and influenced and even set in places and with cultures and things that I just don't really know a lot about. I just want to know more about the magic, like the magic that they've sort of talked about but not really delved into yet. My camera's dying right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and charge it, maybe read some more, see where we get to. Okay, so I think the last time I talked to you was on Sunday, possibly. Hello?
Hi.
Hi. So I think the last time I talked to you guys was on Sunday, and it is currently Tuesday now. I am on chapter 10, which is page 178. So I've gotten quite far ways into the story. A couple of things that have been happening. So Nari like summons this Jin slash diva warrior guy who is helping her get to Divabad, which is the big city where the ruler lives or something. But then we also got a second point of view in a couple of the chapters so far from Ali, who is Prince Alizad, who is the prince, obviously, which is fun. I really like him. I just like a character who's in sort of like this position of power, but who's very soft-hearted and very like, you know, wants to do good for other people, but everybody around him is trying to push him in a different direction and he's just kind of like wavering. I really like that character. Nari and Dara, their whole thing that's happening at this point is just keeping me alive and living through this book. I'm so excited. I want to know what's gonna happen. We've been slowly getting a lot of the history behind this world and a lot of the like terminology and things that we should be knowing, and not gonna lie, it is kind of confusing just because there's so many different names for things. Like the Jinn are technically the Deva, but they don't like going by Jinn, but some of them do. But the Devas who live in Devabad go by Devas. They don't like being called Jinn. And then there's like the whole thing with Suleiman and the curse that was put on them. Yeah, there's just a lot happening and a lot of history and backstory that's being sort of uncovered slowly, which I appreciate that it's not being thrown at us all at once like in House of Earth and Blood. Personally, for me, that's how I felt about that story. So I appreciate that it's coming sort of slowly, but at the same time there's so much. But then on top of that, I really appreciate there being a lot because I like a very rich, like diverse sort of story and landscape. So I don't know. I'm just gonna keep reading and see what happens, but I'm really enjoying the story so far. I like that it's sort of a blend between the modern world and the fantasy, because there's a lot of references to like Egypt and Afghanistan and China and stuff like that. But then of course there's also this whole other world with like magic and devas and jinn and that sort of thing. Anyway though, I'm really liking it so far. I'm very excited to keep reading and see what happens. Cross our fingers it stays good, which I'm sure it will. Okay, you guys, I have one thing to say and one thing only. I am flying through this book way too fast to be filming a full vlog for it. Like that little bit at the bottom, that's all I have left at this point. It is getting so good. Oh my god. Okay, there's a plane passing overhead. One moment, please. So I think the moment when I first started flying through it and like really getting into it was right around the midpoint where the two point of views sort of finally converged, the two plot lines we were following. So Nari and Dara eventually emerged with Ali's chapters, and now they're all in the palace at this point. There's so much intrigue, like politically, and also just like, I don't know, everything else, like the whole Shafit versus Jinn versus Deva thing, and the whole like, you know, they've got this like crypt under the palace. There's a lot happening and I just want to know what's gonna happen, and I want to know that everything's going to be okay for Dara and Nari, even though I have this like weird feeling that he's keeping something from her and that we're gonna find out about it right at like the turning point of the story, and I'm just like really not looking forward to it. The other thing I want to say is I'm still so confused about the different types of people and their like classes and differences. Like I've been reading this book for like a week now and I'm still so confused every time I open the book, and it's like as soon as I think that I have it down, as soon as I'm like, ah yes, okay, Jinn is the global term, but the Devas took the name because of this, and then they introduce something else and I'm just like, what the actual hell? At this point, the only thing that I have down is that the Nahids, if that's how you pronounce it, used to rule in Devabad, right? And then the Gaziris, I'm not looking at the word right now, so I'm forgetting how they're spelled, but they came and like conquered, which is the Al-Qatanis, who are like, the Qatanis, I guess, who are like there now. And then they took the name of the Devas, is that what it is? They took the ancestral name Deva to distinguish themselves from the other Jinn. Is that right? I feel like that's right, but I'm still so confused. And then the whole like, you know, who's a fire worshiper and who isn't, and why is that an insult, and who can use fire and who can't. Like, I'm so confused. But surprisingly, the confusion is doing nothing to stop me from continuing to read. So I'm fine with that, you know? Just let it fly under the radar and I will keep reading and keep enjoying my time doing this. Yeah, the book is just getting really, really, really good. And I feel for Nari also in the situation that she's in right now. She spent like her 20 years of life not knowing where she came from, who her parents were, why she could do the things that she could do. All of a sudden met some guy on the night that she almost died who said, hey, I'm gonna take you to this place where all your answers will be, you know, given. Takes a month to get there after being killed nearly like 3 times, right? And now she's finally here and the answers are still not clear, and she's also not good at anything that she's doing. And also the whole like Alizad thing and how he's like balancing between loyalty to his family and loyalty to what's right. It's like, dude, do what's right, you know? Stand up for the people who can't stand up for themselves. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna keep reading now, but I needed to update you guys because I'm probably gonna finish this book today and I needed to update you before that happened. I feel like 90% of these vlogs are like, oh yeah, I love starting this story. It's so good so far. And then the next clip is, okay, so I just spent all day and I finished the book, and you get like no in between. So here's me attempting to give you an in between. I hope you enjoyed. I love the winds that keeps pulling up the pages every time I try to flip it. Stay down. This is not going well for my montage. Oh, now this side of the page wants to go up. I'm done. I give up. Okay. Oh my god, I need to get book 2 because I just finished this and I just can't, I can't deal. I can't deal with how good that ending was. Oh my god. I'm trying to talk kind of quietly just in case the family can hear me out there so that I'm not embarrassing myself. So I was right about certain things, I was wrong about other things, and even more other things kind of went in a completely different direction than I had anticipated, so that was good. If any of you have read this book and you know the ending and like the twist at the ending, and just oh my god, it was the last thing that I was expecting. I had absolutely no idea that that was going to happen. So if you know what I'm talking about, good. I'm still reeling. I'm reeling by how many twists there were, how many little like threads were left hanging, because obviously this is a series, and just like how, oh my god, it was just so good. It was so much better than I thought it was going to be, and I'm so happy about it. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to go immediately order the second book so that it can be delivered and I can start reading it as soon as possible. This is like one of those series that I know I'm going to want to just like speed through and not wait a really long time to finish reading. I don't want to say too much about the ending because I don't want to spoil anybody who hasn't read this yet and is just like watching this reading vlog for whatever reason, but I can't, God, I love a good fantasy that has so many different threads that sort of all come together at the end, but then also are never answered so that you have to be like left wondering what the hell is gonna happen in books 2 and 3. I really like that. I mean, obviously I didn't like where everything ended up. Things are a complete shit show by the end of the book, but that's why there's 2 more books. But yeah, it was just, the world building was so good. Like the history behind everything, the whole like story about the Deva and how they sort of betrayed whoever it was, I honestly don't remember, and then Suleiman like cursed them, but then some of the Deva like didn't, and the Ifrit and the Jinn, and like everything was just so good. And the way that she like combined all of that sort of lore into like this world that is sort of like, you know, settled within our world, I loved it. I loved it so much. I'm so happy I started reading this series. But anyway, okay, I think I'm gonna stop this vlog now. I was thinking about reading a second book in this vlog, but I don't know how much longer that would make this video, and also why not just make that a different reading vlog? Who knows? But yeah, so this will just be centered around City of Brass. I will be making more in the future, so stick around. Maybe I'll read a book that you might be interested in if it's not this one. But yeah, if you guys have read this story, definitely let me know what your thoughts on it were down below. I would love to hear what your opinions are on it. I'm excited to see where the story is going to go, because I feel like Nari has a pretty big journey ahead of her, and a very big, like, you know, turnaround in the whole like acceptance of who she is and what her history is and her ancestors and her, because she's kind of like shying away from Deva culture and stuff now, but I feel like in the coming books she will have to eventually accept that, or at least find her own way to accept herself and to rise and bring this civilization from the ashes of the Katanis or whatever, you know? I feel like that's gonna happen. I'm looking forward to it, and if it doesn't, I hope I enjoy whatever does happen. So yeah, if you've read this story, definitely let me know your thoughts down below. But otherwise, I think that's going to be it for this vlog. If you want to follow me on any of my socials, all my handles are in the description. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you later. Bye!